Base build is for mini app builders. You can get rewarded for what you build. You can get analytics and insights to grow faster, and you can improve your distribution within the base app. I'm going to briefly sign in and show you what the experience looks like. We'll talk a little bit more and reflect on what we've already talked about in previous videos on what is a mini app and why. And then we'll actually update a V0 vibe coded app that I built last week to be a mini app, and I'll show you how to make it work with base build. So in order to sign into base build, you sign in with your mini app, with your smart wallet, and you can see all of the apps that you've already built. This is CoopRex. I'll show you in process. So we'll stay on in process today. And actually, I'll just show you all of them real quick. Here's Recoup. You can see active and new users, total session time, average session time, number of times people have opened, median session time, and the entry points. Entry points include the base app home, base app search, base app feed, the messaging, social, and other. We can go into Maravilla City by Excelencia, and each of these little bars shows our active and new. And new is going to be the first time someone opened, and active is a returning person. Session time seems to be going up. Same with total session time. Number of opens sticks around 1 or 2 per day of people opening up the mini app. And other is the biggest here, followed by home and then search. Going back to in process, the last one. This one has a lot of data. I added it in first, and it's the most active. We've got 97 active and new humans. Total session time can stretch upwards of 24 minutes, but the average seems to be less than a minute that people spend within the mini app. Number of opens will get between like 16 on a high day, 2 or 3 on a low day, and overwhelmingly people discover it straight from the home feed where people open up in process. So again, the purpose of this, you get rewarded. You see that there's this builder rewards in the top right. So you get rewarded, and when you get rewarded, those rewards will get sent to you. So when you build a mini app and you use base.dev, you can get paid for the mini apps that you build. You get the analytics and insights. That's what I'm showing you here. You can see these are the analytics so that we can study how we're doing and grow faster. And you can also get and improve your distribution in the base app. This one, I'm not entirely sure how they do. How do they grow? Earn through analytics, build. Here's them talking about on Google Chrome how you import a new app. This is the only thing you need to do is add on one new line to your existing manifest called Base Builder. And I'll show you how to do all of this. Let's go back and reflect on mini apps that we talked about last week. Oh yeah, forgot. There's a QR code that's in the top right. Scan that at any time to come into the docs and start exploring base dev or base builds. So here is, open in a new tab. Well, that's not what I wanted. Full screen. So we talked about this 2 weeks ago. What are the benefits of mini apps? Mini apps, you get to reach millions directly inside of the base app. You get mobile distribution, so distribution on all mobile devices anywhere in the world without having to get an app store review by Apple or Google. You get, again, millions directly inside of the base app. You get one-click opening directly in the social feed. You get push notifications so that you can re-engage people directly back into your app. You get seamless on-chain interactions because they're directly connected with a wallet. You don't need to worry about credit card numbers. You don't need to worry about trying to get people to go and give you permission. It's directly connected with a wallet, so you can know what's inside of your human accounts users, your human accounts wallets, and you can also interact with those funds. You get previews to launch directly from the social feed. It's very quick, which I'm going to show you in this video. And then you can ship updates instantly without going through that review process again. I built this last week, and this is already live as a site, I believe. Oh, actually, looks like I have not published this latest version as a site. So first we'll publish this, but we've already talked about what is base.dev. It's the new base build site where you can add in a new mini app, get analytics, get paid, and improve your distribution within the base app. We've talked about mini apps, which we're deploying again right now. Mini apps are, you can take an existing app or you can vibe code an app. This is a vibe coded app right now. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add a new mini app into the base dev, into the base builds dashboard. So that way I can show you exactly how to go from 0 to mini app that is included inside of the base builds dashboard so that you can start getting analytics, getting paid, and improving your distribution inside of the base app for any musician, any artist, any builder that's out there that wants to get started distributing your ideas through base. Once this deploys, I'll show you how it looks right now directly inside of Farcaster, which is the same social feed as the base app. Okay, so we got this domain v0 mini app benefits page.vercel.app. I'm going to make this a little bit more customized, and I'm going to call it mini app benefits.vercel.app. So now we can visit the site and it takes us straight to mini app benefits.vercel.app. And when I try to share this on Farcaster, we'll see that this is not a mini app yet, but it is just a app. I share the link and it gives me a link that I link out to and it takes me out of the social feed. So I come over to here, I click on the link and it takes me out of the social feed and it opens up a new tab. We don't like that. Not super intuitive. So I'm going to delete that cast. And now let's make some changes to allow us to actually make this a mini app. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to go and search base mini app. Here's my documentation. And so here's the steps we need to follow. The first thing, we can skip this page because this is simple. The next one, we need to add this mini kit provider and set frame ready. So I'll just copy this page, go back to v0 and say, let's make this a mini app. Start by integrating the provider and the set frame ready function call following these docs. Give it the docs, send it, and now it's going to start to do the integration. Now there's three things we need to do in order to make this a mini app. We need to call the ready function, which is what we're doing now. We need to add the embed so that way it shows up as an embed with the correct button. And then third, we need to update the manifest. Where we're going to be judging this is inside of the developers tab inside of Farcaster. So each of these corresponds with the three steps I said. The preview tool is set ready. The embed tool is for your embed. And then the manifest is the manifest. So we start with the first one, the preview tool. Let's check out my mini. Copy the link and come over to the verification. And here when we open it, it's probably going to give us a notification that ready is never called, which means that it's never going to open. Ready's not called. So that's the first thing we want to fix, which should have just been fixed right here inside of the mini app. I'm going to check out the code to verify what happened. We can see inside of the layout, we now have this mini app context provider coming from our mini kit provider. Mini kit provider is including an API key and then a chain of base. And inside of our page, we are calling, if not frame ready, we call set frame ready. And that's all using mini kit. Let's publish these changes and see if that fixes our first step of our verification of the preview tool. Builds and deploys are pretty fast. I'm going to ignore the security risk because I have not actually added any API keys, so I can ignore that risk. If you have added your API key, take note that if it starts with next public, you're exposing that environment variable publicly. And so if it's something you don't want to share, like an API key or something that's connected to billing, you might not want to share it. Okay, so we get this deploying. If you're watching this, make sure you drink some water, stay hydrated. Keeps your brain working well. Take a couple deep breaths, feel your heart. Make sure that you're coming back to the simple things, come back to your bones, come back to your breath, come back to your health. Nothing needs to be complex. We've got all the docs we need. We've got all the resources we need to do this for free with just talking in human readable English. Nothing complex about it. All right, so it does the build. Once it deploys, all that we need to do is we'll collapse this and then we'll open it up again. And after this, we'll be going to the embed step. So I'll jump ahead a little bit, assuming this works right. The next step is I believe the frame metadata is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to skip all of this about environment variables. The manifest will come back to later. Create manifest. This is what we'll do in a third step. And add frame metadata is what I'm going to do second. And what the frame metadata does is it gives us that button that you see right there that allows us to open it up. And this is just normal meta tags that's included in the normal generate metadata of Next.js. And we add this Farcaster frame JSON that allows us to set the button title, make the button action, give us a splash image URL, etc. There's going to be an image I'm going to want to include, and I think I just want to include the base square. So I'm going to try to look up base design kit. They typically have a GitHub that has all of their brand kit, and that's what we're going to take. Here's the brand kit. It includes the logos, and so I'm going to take some of these logos and I'm going to include these as our splash image. Open image in new tab. This is hopefully just a blue square. This is simple, and this is what we're going to use. Let's see if we're still deploying. Okay, it looks like it's finished deploying. So let's come back over to our developer preview tool, refresh, and I'm going to plug in the same URL and try it again, and let's see if we've made the improvement we wanted to see. We open it as a mini app, and this time we can see that the app loads. It no longer tells us that we need to call set ready. We have completed the first step of this build. Now let's go back. We're following something called test-driven development. First, red, then green, then refactor. Red means it fails, green means it passes, and refactor means you clean it up to make it more improved. Here we're going to see the red again. We submit this, and we can see we don't get any URL details. The preview's not available. The URL won't show up as a mini app embed when shared. So this is our red state. We now need to fix this. So we go back to v0. We come over to our add frame metadata. I'm going to copy the LLM, and now we'll paste into here. Now we need to add embed info. Please follow these docs and use this image for splash page image. And now I'm just going to copy this image. Copy image. Paste the image directly. I guess I can't copy it like that, so we'll save image. Base blue square. Come back into v0, upload from my computer. Go to my downloads, base blue square. And now let's send that off and see if the next step of updates gets implemented correctly. We haven't written any code. We haven't even read the docs. All that I'm doing is copying the docs, giving it to v0, and giving it any assets that I need. In this step, we'll tweak a couple things, but it's just going to be simple text changes. In this, we added a new asset, the new SVG, and we updated the layout. So let's check out the layout. And inside of here, we now have our generate metadata function. It is using our URL. It's got a project name. And now here's our Farcaster frame info. Project name we need to improve. Mini apps benefits. That sounds good. Learn about mini apps benefits. Overall, this is looking good. We do need a correct URL in here. So let me get my URL. I think it's base. No, it's mini app benefits. What's our URL? Mini app benefits.vercel.app. Let's take this back into v0. Paste that, and now we've got our URL. Next button, launch it, project name, URL base logo.svg, and then I don't know what this color is, but we're going to leave it as is for now. Let's save this, publish the changes, and we've still got another 19 minutes, and we're chugging along quite rapidly through making this a mini app. It gets easier and easier to make a mini app, and for me personally, the more mini apps I build, the easier it is to do it. The first mini app I built took me a long time. The second one, less time. And now we're getting to the point where I feel comfortable that within 30 minutes, I've been able to distill the massive amounts of docs and information about mini apps. And for me, I know the things I need to do. especially when building inside of a vibe coding tool like V0. Again, the distilled steps that I use from a vibe coded app that knows nothing about mini apps, knows nothing about base or Farcaster. I add the ready state, which we already did. I add the embed info, and then I add the manifest. It looks like we failed. We are exporting. So I've actually hit this error quite a bit. Is that for some reason, we continue to generate metadata, which I actually don't see anywhere, and I haven't been able to find where this bug is. I think this is a bug inside of V0, because I have personally not been able to get this working. It says you're using const metadata, and it says we're using both. Where does it say it? Metadata and generate metadata cannot be exported at the same time. And so it seems like even though we haven't included metadata anywhere in this app, it still thinks that we have. So what I'm going to say is publish, let's fix with V0. I'm going to stop the generation if possible. And I'm going to come back and click the pencil. Fix by using metadata instead of generate metadata. I'm going to try to use the one that it prefers instead of trying to use the one that I prefer. I actually spelled generate metadata wrong, but I have a feeling it's still going to understand. It should only modify one file, and it should be a pretty quick change. Cool, we just got the little ping telling us that it's done. Let's check out the layout again. We're still seeing metadata, generate metadata here, so it actually didn't do the update. I've removed the conflicting. No, please use metadata and get rid of. So it didn't understand what I said. So it said it got rid of metadata and added generate metadata. I didn't want that. I want the opposite, because even though metadata is not included, it seems to still be included somehow. So I want it to update. Let's see what the chat says. Did it fix? I now see metadata here, and we have all the same things. We've got our title, description, our Farcaster info, image URL, splash image URL, all looking good. So let's try publishing again to see if this fixed the error. Again, this isn't your issue. This is an issue inside of V0. I have a feeling invisibly behind the scenes, even though we deleted this metadata, it's still adding it invisibly. And so this is a bug inside of V0. If the Vercel or the V0 team is listening to this, hopefully they fix this bug. But for now, I was not able to overcome this when I worked with Gabriel Lago here in Cali, Colombia on Friday. We hit the same error that I'm hitting now. And instead of trying to fight it like I did with him, I'm trying to learn from that experience and just use metadata instead of generate metadata. Let's see if my hypothesis works. This is the first time I'm trying this. And if it works, then this is how I'm going to recommend you fix it and anybody else that runs into this error. Coming back to a summary of what we've already done in this video, we've already talked about the benefits of mini apps and the benefits of base build. We've done the ready step for our mini app, and now we're on the embed step. Once we get the embed working, we're then going to go onto our manifest. It looks like we are working now. It's deploying the outputs. At this point, it should be less than 10 seconds until it's live, and then we can test over here again. Remember, last time, no HTTP status, no cache header, preview not available. We click refresh, and now I see a button. I see HTTP status is 200. I see a load time. I'm seeing check marks on all of our embed data. So everything looks good. URL details are not giving me embed present or embed valid, which feels a little weird to me. But I'm going to consider this done, and I'm going to move on to the next one. So let's go back. Benefits.vercel.app is our domain. Take this, go back to our developers. Now we go into the manifest step. It doesn't like the HTTPS prefix nor that /, and we can see URL details are missing our well-known farcaster.json. However, we do have a home URL embed, so we're part of the way there. So what we want to do is go back into here, and now we want our manifest create manifest. Copy the docs, come back to v0 and say, now let's set up the metadata creating a new route at .wellknown / farcaster.json following the attached docs. Paste the docs, send it off, and now it's going to hopefully create that route that we need. Still no coding required, still no need to read the docs, just giving the docs to the vibe code machine and let the vibe code machine do everything we need to do. All right, let's go over to code and just verify. I do need to verify though. Even though I'm not writing code, it is important that I can at least validate what's going on. So with valid properties, we've got our public URL. I don't like public URL, so we're gonna, instead of use environment variables, I'm gonna directly paste in here the strings that we need. The account association we'll get in a second. Whoops. And now here we've got our project name, mini app benefits, subtitle. I'm going to copy that from our layout. Go back over here to our route, get our subtitle in there, get our description in there. Screenshot URLs, I'm going to use the image that we've already been using. Right here, our splash image. Copy that, go back to route. Now we put in our icon URL, which is just the base image. Screenshot URLs right there. Splash image URL, same thing. Background color, I have no idea what this color is, but we're using it. We need a webhook URL, primary category. I don't know what the primary categories are, so I'm going to leave that as is. Tags base mini app, mini app benefits. I'm also going to put my name in here, Sweetman. Base build. That should be good. Now we need a hero image URL, which will take the same image we've been using everywhere else. Tagline, build on base. OG title, mini app benefits. OG description is going to be the same as these descriptions. OG image URL is the same as all of our other images. We're keeping it basic. Make it work, make it right, make it awesome. Only use while testing. No index is true. All right, with this, it's not prompting me to save, surprisingly. Let's try publishing these changes. I'm wondering why it's not asking me to save. I'm going to copy all this just in case it doesn't save it. Let's try publishing this and see if it publishes the changes that I made. Typically, after you write some changes, it asks you to save. So like here, even here, it's not prompting me to save. So maybe it's auto-saving now, but I distinctly remember a couple minutes ago, as I was making some changes, it needed me to click save. So I'm worried these changes are not being saved, and if not, I'm just going to tell it to manually write these so that the changes I'm asking to be applied are actually applied. I wonder if I can get a little early access to see if it happened here if I click on the view code button of source. Inside of source, let's find app, well-known farcaster.json route. Yeah, it has not applied my changes as we can see here. So I'm going to go back and say, please update the route.ts you just made with the following code. I want to copy this. It's It's not copying it as I want. The only things I should need to change. There we go. Now we've got pasted text.txt. Let's see if it applies those changes. So we've got our ready, we've got our embed, and now we're working on our manifest. We'll verify in the code. I'm seeing all the stuff that I had written. We'll publish this, publish the changes, and then while it's building, I'm going to check to verify that the source code was actually updated. The only reason I have to go in and do these deeper dives is because V0 has some bugs in it. I'm used to V0 working very well, so it's quite surprising to me that it is not, or that it's requiring me to kick the tires a little bit more than normal. We've got 8 minutes left, so I'm hoping we can get through this. The manifest so far has been the longest step that we've had to work with. It seems to have been stuck here, not actually deploying, so I'll refresh and try it again. Check out the code. Oh, wow. Old versions are redo. Yeah, let's restore to the latest for sure. Restore, please. Back to the latest. Okay, and now I'm not seeing all the code that I'm expecting. Let's check out if the changes I made got saved. Okay, I am seeing some info in here now that I did not see before, so it does look like my latest deployment went through, even though I didn't think it did. So what we're still missing, we need account association. In order to do that, I'll generate this info. It looks like we already have our account info here. So let's say update account association with this info, update account association with this info. I'm concerned that it is not. Yeah, it's saying it's generating. Okay, here it is. Here's the code that we had. Okay, other properties, it says that they can remain unchanged, but they were changed. Let's, how can I get those values back? Because they were deleted. Here's our pasted text. Here's all that info. So let's take this. And what is this? What attribute should this be? Now I'm having to do a little bit more code. This is frame. And we come back into V0. And we call this one frame. And it is, this should be fine as is. Let's delete this. Let's save it. I think we are missing one closing bracket. So we'll save that. Let's try publishing this now and see if it works. If this works, what's the next thing we need to do? If this works, we should have home URL wasn't working. Why wasn't home URL working? Home URL is URL, and URL is actually missing from here. Const URL equals this. So that, and we can delete this trailing / save it. I have a feeling this should crash because it's referencing a field that doesn't exist, but we'll let it run. What else is missing? Home URL, webhook URL. Subtitle's too long, so we need to make the subtitle shorter. Learn about mini app benefits. Oh, it looks like it was successful, surprisingly. Save this. What else did we get wrong? Subtitle's too long, so let's make our subtitle. We already got that. Anything else? That seems to be it. We've saved our changes. Let's publish again. Publish the changes. While it's deploying, let's check out how we're looking over here. Okay, we got that there's no farcaster.json, which is weird. I also am seeing that there's no well-known farcaster.json. Seems like our code is in a weird state, and we might just have some bugs with v0. So I might need to call it here. I'm going to keep talking it through as though it was successful to try to wrap up this video. And so what the next step is we come over here, we import a mini app, and then we copy our URL. We paste our URL into here. And then we import, and it says manifest server because it's missing a manifest file. What we should need to do is we should just need to copy this base builder info. And then we add into here what we just copied. Copy this, and there it is. Save that. Let's publish it again. And once we publish, it should all work. We're still getting a 405, so it's saying it does not have a valid manifest. It seems like we've gotten in a weird state with our mini app that is now causing it to not work. However, let's say it did work. v0 did not have bugs in it like it does today. You add in the base builder section with the allowed address info that it gives you right there. And after that, when you click import, it will then add it to your drop-down list of mini apps, and then you can track all the info. That's going to be it for today. In today's video, we talked about base build, the best way to get rewarded for what you're building, get analytics and insights to grow faster, and to improve your distribution within the base app. If you have any questions, leave them down below, or check out the QR code that's in the top right if you want to get started building on base build today. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.